All right. Hey, welcome to Altitude After Dark. It's your boy DMac, and we're here primarily to talk about the Broncos, but we're also keeping an eye on the Nuggets and the Avalanche. If it looks like I'm in a quirky spot, it's because I am. I am in the bowels of Ball Arena as the Nuggets and the Thunder get going in just a little bit. But, of course, it's late. we all knew that. Today is an awesome day on Altitude. Today, and this was quirky that this happened to me today, and I should have known this considering I was on 9 News this morning with Erica Lopez. The game is on 9 News, flat out on 9 News. And so I go to watch the game on my laptop, and I go to Fubo, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? What? And it took me a minute to realize, wait a second, dum-dum. This game is just flat out on 9 News, where I can flip to easily. So we've got a goal by Ross Colton. We got a goal by Cale Makar. They're in the first intermission. It's 2-0 Avalanche on 9 News. The Altitude Plus app has launched, which is remarkable. And so now you really can get Altitude wherever you go, however you want it. The Nuggets are on TNT tonight, but if you've got, like I have, HBO Max is showing the Nuggets as well. Listen, man, it's so great that it's easier than ever to consume the Nuggets and the Avalanche, and I'm so proud to be here on this historic night in a quirky place, granted, as we have our own digital content that we're doing, uniquely digital content, and we couldn't do it without sponsors. Our sponsors mean absolutely so much to
Your
us.
401k is likely one of your most important financial plans, but it's only part of a comprehensive financial strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture so you can work toward meeting your unique retirement goals. Contact Beau Smith, your Colorado Edward Jones financial advisor, at 303-758-8500 or visit edwardjones.com/Beau-Smith. That's BEAU-Smith. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
The Nuggets get going in just a little bit as we are live from Ball Arena, deep inside of Ball Arena, and it hasn't started yet, but it'll get going soon. And certainly it's exciting that the Avalanche are bouncing back. Sannen and Annette once again, Makar and Colton with the goals. There'll be an MVP ceremony for Nikola Jokic, which will be absolutely tremendous. And I would guess his last MVP sort of ceremony. I think no matter what he does, I mean, it would have to be beyond extraordinary as the greatest player in the world to get a 4th MVP. I'm not saying it's impossible, but difficult to say the least. We welcome your comments as Vic is tied up, as is Mike Sanford. So it's just me and you here on Altitude After Dark today. So would love to interact with you. Throw your comments in. Make sure you like and subscribe as we go. The news with the Broncos today was not great, and it was more off the field. And it's a bizarre story surrounding Josh Reynolds and a couple of his friends. They were out at Shotgun Willie's after midnight, which is well within their right to do. And talking to my pal, Nate Jackson, he was defending vigorously players' rights in their 20s. You don't lead their life. You don't know what it's right. Who are you to judge what somebody of, that age likes to do socially? Okay, I hear you. And Nate was incredibly passionate as well about what happened with Darren Williams. And for those who perhaps are new or don't remember it, it feels like yesterday to me with what happened to Darren Williams. One of the most sad and tragic days in Broncos history. When Darren Williams wasn't the target on New Year's Eve, it was actually Brandon Marshall, the receiver. It just so happened that this horrific, violent act knocked down Darren Williams in the prime of his life as he was an active member of the Denver Broncos. So when we hear the news story today about Josh Reynolds, it's almost impossible not to recall that time with Darren Williams and how that impacted this community so much. It was terrifying. It's a sign of you've got to be careful. Bad things can happen, and there are bad people out there, no doubt about it. And the story goes, as I'm catching up with Josh Reynolds, he's not with the team in New Orleans. That is not unusual for guys on the IR. He had a finger injury. He wasn't going to play. So when the game was over, him and a couple pals go to Shotgun Willie's. He was followed there or found there by this attempted murderer. And the attempted murderer called a couple of other guys. There were 3 cars. So Reynolds comes out with his guys in a blue Ford Bronco and consequently gets chased down I-25 where shots ring out on the highway. Bullet holes are in the windshield. The car is stopped. Reynolds and his friends have to jump over a chain link fence. They end up calling 911 as they're running away as bullets are soaring all over them. Reynolds is struck in the arm and in the back of the head, but thank God and miraculously he's fine. He's okay. In fact, he was back in the facility of the Broncos the next day, and while he's recovering from an injury, has been at practice this entire week. The story held, which is remarkable, as the perpetrators of this horrible crime weren't arrested until relatively recently. And who knows if everybody involved has been apprehended. It's a terrifying story. Absolutely terrifying. And it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if this shook the locker room to its core. It's scary. Really scary. And I'm certainly thrilled that Josh Reynolds is okay. But it's hard to imagine that doesn't stick with you for the rest of your life. And that was going on this entire week. So since the Broncos have been back, certainly while we didn't know and we're just finding out today, certainly the team knew, his teammates knew. And I'm sure Sean Payton will address things tomorrow. As it happened with the Broncos today, the news actually didn't come out until the locker room was done with their daily media. So that's when everybody in the media, the Muggles, actually found out about it. So it was difficult to get any other comment aside from an official statement from the Broncos. Josh Reynolds was a victim of a shooting on Friday in Denver and received treatment for minor injuries. Out of respect for the legal process, we will defer further comment on this matter to the authorities. Well, good for the Broncos. What else are they going to say? And it's a remarkable story that's come out due to the investigation of 9 News. Okay, so how does this impact the team? Well, it'll be an interesting day over at Dove Valley tomorrow as his teammates are asked about it, as the coaches are asked about it. It'll be fascinating to see how this translates and what kind of impact it actually does have. Now, these players, it was a long time since Darren Williams' murder. So it does strike me, and it makes me wonder, how recent do you feel about Darren Williams? And to have a shooting in this case, thank God Josh Reynolds is okay. Listen, that is my biggest takeaway. My number one takeaway is thank God he's okay. And I don't know what the beef was all about. It doesn't matter. This isn't how things should go. And I truly hope that there's no other negative ramifications that come towards any other Broncos player or anybody out there. I abhor violence and all of its constructs. And this is a dreadful story. So my thoughts are with Josh. I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad everybody's okay. This is absolutely premeditated attempted murder. There's no doubt about it. You're following a guy into a club. They're calling in reinforcements. You're chasing him down the road. There's bullet holes in the front windshield. The car was abandoned. They were running from the vehicle itself off the highway. This is something out of a terrible movie. In real life, involving a member of one of our pro sports teams. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. we'll see where it goes. Like I said, I welcome your comments. We'll get through a few of these today and just take it as it comes. Meanwhile, we do have a game to get to. They are doing introductions right now. I can hear it right behind me on the floor. So the game won't get going here for quite a bit. So we look forward to the game once it starts. We look forward to Nikola Jokic being honored as the MVP from last year. And, of course, it wasn't that long ago where Nathan McKinnon was honored by Nikola Jokic. I should say it right. Another incredible moment here at Ball Arena where there have been so many over the years. And we have championship expectations both for the Avalanche and the Nuggets. And hopefully the Avs can hang on to their lead. The second period has just started. 12 shots on net for the Avs. No shots for Utah. 2-0 with Annunen in net. Colorado's on the power play. They've been deadly on the power play all this year, actually. Ross Colton's been absolutely on fire. So things are headed in the right direction here for the Avs again tonight. We'll keep tabs on it as the night goes on. And certainly we're here to talk about the Nuggets and what they have going on. So until that moment, let's get to some more content about the good old Broncos. And we start off with playing a terrible team. And here is Sean Payton being in this situation.
I feel like I've been in this type of game 15, 16, 17 times, and the focus is on our preparation. The focus is on our plan, and then obviously studying the film and understanding how to win this game.
It's a game where the Broncos should slaughter the Panthers. Adam Schefter was on a PhD earlier today, and there was no rebuttal against the statement the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL. And when you think about the Browns and the Patriots, that's not an easy task to accomplish. But they are the worst team. They're horrendous on offense. They're horrendous on defense. They can't do anything. And debating about it with Scott and Tyler today, Tyler was like, I need to see a laser show. And I don't need to see a laser show. I need to see a convincing win where Bo Nix, who's one of the most protected quarterbacks in the NFL with a great offensive line, is able to just calmly distribute the ball where it needs to be. But in all honesty, folks, this is going to be a run-heavy game because the Panthers just can't stop the run. And even Bo Nix has been big in terms of running, Sean Payton.
Number one, he's fast, and I think it's a little bit of a plus maybe we didn't necessarily see to that extent. We had a couple design schemes last week, a third down run, some read option stuff, things that can help our running game. And he's smart enough to know how to protect himself. So, certainly take the first play of the game. We're going to take a shot. They do a pretty good job maybe in coverage, and he climbs, and it becomes a little bit more challenging if you play man-to-man because your eyes as a cover player are on your player. And so we did get, I felt, more zone as that game played out a week ago. And so certainly it's an asset.
Bo Nix himself talked about running the ball. He's not shy.
Well, I think it's an important part of the game. I think, when you look at the times it happens and all that kind of stuff, it can be good for an offense. It can be used as a weapon. And so that's what we're going to continue to use it for, and just find ways to get explosives with my legs. And then, when it's not there in the passing game or, running backs or other guys running it, I got the ability to do that as well.
Said he didn't realize maybe before you joined the team how fast you were. Is that an opinion kind of shared by others? They don't realize how fast you are?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Bo Nix is doing great. He's 4-3 leading the Broncos, which is the most important numbers, that's for sure. In terms of the running game, Audric Estime's fumbles are concerning. So Javonte Williams has an interesting drill for him to do this.
We've seen the ability and the skill set. Javonte has given him a present today where he'll have, a ball for a week wherever he goes. But I think it happens to young backs a lot because at this level, the ability for players and the point of emphasis of taking the ball away, it steps up a lot, and so.
Yeah, it certainly does. So listen, the Broncos have everything going their way. Things are going in the right direction. And then you get into a fascinating conversation. Should they be buyers or sellers? Or maybe a little bit of both. If you have a player like Baron Browning on expiring contract, or perhaps you can get value for Courtland Sutton and it's time to move on to new things. Well, that possibility may come into play if there's a player that can impact the team now. Listen, we really haven't talked about the Broncos being buyers in a long time. Sean Payton says he and George Payton are talking about it all the time.
Are you getting conversations at this time now with George about buyers, sellers in terms of your roster?
No, he might come in occasionally either way. Like, in other words, he might walk in and say, hey, we got a call, or,
Do you go to him?
No, we talk daily. It's kind of like homecoming's 2.5 weeks away, and everyone's kind of putting out their feelers to see. But it is, and so, I think pretty much daily it would be normal for him to walk in, and we might, hey, I got a call from, and those are like feelers, that, and so I'm really focused on this team, and yet all of that you have to pay attention to, and
all right, there you go. So what's next? We're fixing to find out, as Gary Kubiak has famously said. So now you're faced with playing the worst team in the world, and it is funny to hear the Broncos, which is protocol in the NFL, always speak good about the players that you're facing. Now, of course, things are twisted so bad for the Panthers. Literally nothing can go right for them.
Andy Dalton was in a car accident yesterday with his family, with JJ and the kids. And a scary moment for sure. Everyone was okay. Everyone was healthy. Unfortunately, in the accident, he did sprain his thumb. So Bryce will be playing this week.
Okay. That's Bryce Young. Number 1 overall pick, former Heisman Trophy winner, but small guy and pretty bad in the NFL. But meanwhile, here you go. Sean Payton saying good things about Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think he's got good vision, a quick release. He shows accuracy, poise. He's played in big moments. In other words, I remember him coming out, he's played in, real big moments. So, I think that, look at it, you flip the focus when you have a change in quarterbacks from like one to the other, and then study it as best you can.
Well, there you go. Listen, they're terrible. I mean, they are really, really bad. Even Bo Nix is trying to turn it into something tough. The Carolina defense.
What do you think from Carolina's defense?
They're a good bunch. They keep everything in front of you. They don't give up a whole lot of explosive plays. They tackle well. They do a good job of rushing the passer. Obviously they got some key contributors over there that are really good players in the league, and so got to be wary of those guys, and then make sure that we continue to do what we do and run the ball efficiently, do well on third downs, do better on third downs, because we haven't been very good in that area all year. But I think it just starts with early down production and then moving from there.
They're hot garbage. That's what they are. Hot garbage. Meanwhile, we have good news. Pat Surtain back at practice, recovering from his concussion. Looks like he's good to go. I don't think they would really need him. So if they feel like they need to rest Pat Surtain, I'd say do it. Congratulations to Cody Barton being the AFC Player of the Week.
Getting AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
It was an honor getting that award. Makes me feel good. But also, it makes me happy for my teammates as well. I know there's a lot of plays that, I couldn't have made, like the touchdown at the end, if my teammates aren't in the back for making plays. And so, as exciting as it was individually to get that award, I attribute it to my teammates.
You and Pat have won that award this year. What is it about this defense that on any given Sunday, any of you guys could step up and have a game like that?
Yeah, I think I've said it in the past too. The good thing in this defense, and it's something I love about this defense, is everyone eats. And you don't know whose day it's going to be, but in this defense, everyone makes plays, everyone has a chance to eat, and it's a lot of fun.
Cody Barton's a likable dude, no doubt about it. He said he was ready for this role. He was prepared for this role that none of us really expected him to be excelling.
Did you think this could be your role when you signed here?
Yeah, I did.
And why so? What about it attracted you? It made you think this kind of thing could happen for you specifically?
Yeah, just the aggressive style of defense. When I was during the free agency, I did envision this for myself, and I've just always believed in it. And I believe in what VJ calls and his philosophies and stuff like that. And just a lot of things defensively as a whole are coming to fruition.
I like Cody Barton, man. He's been great. I mean, Surtain, Cody Barton. The defense does not have many weak spots, if any. It's been incredible. They're top 5 in almost every category you can think of. It's been amazing. And how good you have to be as an offense. Listen, the Broncos are 31st on third down. That's terrible. You obviously have to get better there. You want to be more efficient. You want to be better in the red zone. But they're going to run the ball against a terrible team. Meanwhile, the Broncos go into this week relatively healthy. And they even had a bit of a mini bye week. Here's what Cody did with his wife.
The game you had.
Yeah, it was blown up. The long week was good. We stayed here. Me and my wife stayed here. It was her birthday, so we went up to Vail. It was kind of cool. A little bougie, but it was cool. I'm an outdoor guy, though, so we were hiking around, fishing a little bit, but it was fun. Get some time out, get the body right.
Vail's a little bougie. And in other news, water is wet. The sun sets in the west. Vail is bougie. Don't tell Cody about Aspen. It's Altitude After Dark. We welcome your comments. We hope you subscribe. We love our
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Beau Smith, your Colorado Edward Jones financial advisor, can make your retirement goals a reality. He can help you figure out where you are today and how to get where you expect to be. Working together, you can plan for what you want and be ready to take on anything unexpected along the way. Call him at 303-758-8500 or visit edwardjones.com/Beau-Smith to get started today. That number again, 303-758-8500. Edward Jones, member SIPC. As we check in on the Avalanche, it's 2-0 halfway through the second intermission. They're blistering Utah 17-7. Remember when they started off 0-4? They win this game. They tie it up. They come home for a couple games over the weekend. The Avalanche on fire. Okay, great. In a bizarre, weird NHL rule, Cal Ritchie has been sent back down to juniors. He wasn't eligible to be with the Eagles, and unless he stayed with the big team, the only place for him to go is juniors for the rest of the year. Bizarre rule for the NHL. I don't quite get it. But plenty of Avalanche action on Altitude Plus, and we're watching this game on 9 News, which is amazing. Incredible day. Amazing day. Meanwhile, we go to Ball Arena, and as the Nuggets game is about to begin, I'm going to dip in and watch the game. But we'll have all the coverage for you on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. The game can be heard right on 92.5. Then post-game, stick around on all digital platforms and on the radio as well. Never mind the incredible TV coverage on Altitude TV. So the Nuggets are about to tip it off. Jokic has been honored as the MVP. It's a tough team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and this is the start of hopefully a championship run season. So let the ghosts of last year's Game 7 loss to the Timberwolves be put to bed. The ball is up. Tip-off is happening. Chet Holmgren against Jokic. I'm waiting to see who actually wins the tip as the fans are on their feet. Here we go. All right. What? It's deflected? That's with the Thunder. Okay, that was
A bit anticlimactic. Oh, they're going to re-jump. They actually screwed up the opening jump. This is fantastic. Let's do it again. And it's Jamal Murray now. Is that a rule? Can the same two guys not? Okay. Oklahoma City wins the tip. I'm going to dip in. We'll have tons of coverage for you, both on the radio, on TV, 9 News with the Avs, on all the Altitude digital networks. This is the beginning of something incredibly exciting with 2 amazing teams. So a sold-out Ball Arena. The Avs putting it to the Utah Hockey Club. The Broncos going against the worst team in the NFL. And your CU Buffs taking on Cincinnati, the matchup of 2 5-2 teams, with both the Nuggets and the Avs playing at Ball Arena over the weekend. I mean, are you kidding me? How is this not the greatest time of the year? Jokic for 3. What do you think? It's Altitude After Dark. We'll talk to you soon. We love